first time experiencing this, and I think this is like a busy area. So I think the government should do something about it.
FCT, Lagos, and others remain on alert as flash flood warning enters day 3.
Is in alignment with the renewed hope of His Excellency Mr. President to increase food production.
Federal government seeks collaborations with states, private sector to boost Nigeria's food security. And Minister of Aviation orders NCAA to place Fuji musician Kwam Wan on a no-fly list. Hello, good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. We are live in Abuja. I am Juma Yusuf. Tonight, Hingino John Adams will be joining us from Lagos with news from that axis. Benny Adams is standing by to bring us the business news. And as usual, our sports corner has highlights on happenings in that world with Francisca Bele. The newscast is streaming live on our website and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Tonight, we're throwing more light on the chronic nature and key drivers of Lassa fever in Nigeria. Importantly, we want to know what you think on the mitigation measures being put in place to stop Lassa fever from taking more lives in Nigeria. Incidentally, Lassa fever claims hundreds of lives yearly. But what if the solution is clearer than we think? Should Nigeria focus on prevention, faster care, cleaner environment, or stronger healthcare systems? Let's know what you think on our online survey for tonight. Take our quick survey by simply scanning the QR code soon to be displayed on screen and vote your choice on how best to fight and reduce Lassa fever deaths in Nigeria. And still on health, let's quickly bring in our health correspondent, Olusegun Adebo, with an update on the latest Lassa fever outbreak in Nigeria. Olusegun will be telling us what the figures are saying in terms of prevalence and what structure have been put in place as regards our national response.
Thank you, Jimmy. Death on Lassa fever at this time is actually not a welcoming one, and I'm here to share some key statistics on the disease within the Nigerian context. According to the latest Week 29 situation report from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention (NCDC), the death toll from Lassa fever in 2025 has risen to 155. Just in the past week, 11 new cases were confirmed, all from Ondo and Edo states, bringing the total number of confirmed cases this year to 822. Notably, 5 states account for 89% of all cases. These 5 states are Ondo, Bauchi, Edo, Taraba, and Ebonyi. On a more positive note, no new infections among healthcare workers were recorded in the most recent reporting week. In terms of demographics, the male to female ratio among confirmed cases is 1 to 0.8, indicating a slightly higher percentage among male. The National Health Authority continue to emphasize the importance of surveillance, risk communication, and clinical management across the country. Finally, Jimmy, it's important to stress this again, that health is everyone's business. We all have a role to play by maintaining proper environmental sanitation, avoiding contact with rodents, and reporting any early symptoms to the nearest health facility. That's how we can support the national efforts to controlling and preventing Lassa fever. Thank you.
Olusegun, thank you so much. Health is everyone's business and health is also wealth. Now let's bring you the latest on the incident between Fuji musician Wasiu Ayinde Marshall, popularly known as Kwam Wan, and officials of Value Jet Airline at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, has now directed the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority to place Kwam Wan on a no-fly list pending further investigation in line with the temporary suspension of the value jet captain and pilot's licenses. According to the minister, both parties breached standard safety protocol as mandated by the International Civil Aviation Organization. Keyamo said that by blocking the aircraft from taxiing, the Fuji musicians' action on the tarmac are totally unacceptable and pose a safety risk. He commended the NCAA for their proactive action in suspending the value jet cruise licenses and directed that all airlines are informed of the directive to place Guam 1 on a no-fly list with potential consequences for non-compliance. Now, the presidency has responded to the Daily Trust editorial that portrayed Nigeria as overwhelmed by hunger and hardship, calling it exaggerated and unbalanced. While acknowledging economic challenges faced by citizens, the administration emphasizes that critiques should be fact-driven, not pessimistic or misleading. A statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Public Communications, Sunday Dare, highlights that the government is actively addressing these issues through targeted policies aimed at long-term stability and prosperity, contrary to the editorial's bleak portrayal. It also refutes specific claims in the editorial, such as the misinterpretation of a UNICEF projection on hunger, clarifying it was a worst-case scenario, assuming no mitigation. It details government interventions, including grain releases, emergency nutrition support, and food security measures. Additionally, the statement disputes the claim of a worthless naira, noting that the currency is recovering due to reforms and outlines a tax and social protection initiatives like the school feeding program, cash transfers, and MSME grants. The administration stresses unity and collective effort in addressing challenges, pointing to global factors like food price inflation, while underscoring Nigeria's mitigation efforts. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has nominated Engineer Abdullahi Garba Ramat as the new Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Engineer Ramat, 39, is an electrical engineer and administrator with a PhD in strategic management, among other qualifications. The president also nominated two commissioners for the NEC. They are Mr. Abubakar Yusuf, Commissioner of Consumer Affairs, and Dr. Fuad Olayinka Animashaun, Commissioner of Finance and Management Services. All nominations are subject to Senate confirmation. However, to avoid a leadership vacuum in the critical regulatory agency, the president directed that Engineer Ramat assume office in acting capacity pending his screening by the Senate, as stipulated by the law. President Tinubu urged the new appointees to use their knowledge and experience to discharge their functions and work assiduously to advance the administration's power sector vision. This year's rainy season is expectedly putting some Nigerians in certain parts of the country on the edge, as already predicted by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. Here in the FCT, apprehensions and uncertainty are beginning to set in for residents in flood-prone areas. Momso Damien Datti brings us a first-hand account of an experience during the most recent flash flood in an axis of the FCT.
The dark clouds, cool breeze, sometimes heavy winds, roaring thunder, followed by water drops, light, or it could be torrential. With these come a ray of hope and excitement for a cool weather and a promising farm yield. But these can turn disastrous. Look at this place, for instance. It is not a rural or riverine community, but an area in the Federal Capital Territory. This is typical every rainy season around the Lokogoma axis. Yours sincerely, all dressed up and off to work, is caught up in the chaos. No turning back, no going forward. For hours, I just stayed put in my car, patiently waiting for the flood to recede.
And since 6:30, I did. Without stopping on the road.
This is the experience year in, year out for residents of Lokogoma in Abuja, and I guess for other flood-prone areas, because measures taken, if any, are not only but temporal. In fact, lives have been lost, the recent being a commercial motorcyclist.
The force of the water swept him off from Dogongada to Pengasan. The roads are blocked.
The government should just try and help us do something about it.
We have to sit and wait anytime rain falls.
Sometimes the damages can cut deeper than the broken walls you see. In some instances, the situation can be worse, leaving commuters stranded for hours, a perplexing situation. But then, should we keep waiting for disasters to occur with more lives lost? Or should we spend more on buying relief items? After all, isn't prevention better than cure? Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
Prevention is better than cure, Momso, but water will always find its part. And the situation is quite the same in some parts of Lagos State. Let's join Joel Popola, who has been monitoring the situation in Ikorodu axis of the state.
Lagos is bracing up for more rainfall as predicted by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency NIMET. The state government, through the Ministry of Environment, has urged residents of flood-prone areas and those living in lowland areas to consider relocating to a safe place, especially as the torrential rains continues to pour down. The state government has also put in place proactive measures to mitigate the impact of the rain by expanding the drainage system and water channels to cope with the large volume of flash floods expected. Apart from this, emergency response mechanism have been put in place to rescue those who will be trapped during the torrential rain in due time. Agungi in Lekki and Ijede in Ikorodu area of Lagos are the worst hit as the devastating impact of the flash floods is still visible within their community. Residents continue to live in palpable fear, hoping the rainy season will come to a climax as soon as possible. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
From Lagos to Maiduguri, the ongoing upgrade of the Alau Dam project, situated a few kilometers away from Maiduguri, the Borno capital, is expected to be completed and put to use for consumption, irrigation and hydroelectric power purposes before March 2027. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Ustef, gave the assurance during an on-the-spot assessment of the project. Abubakar Musa reports.
Upgrade of the Alau Dam project in Borno State commenced in March this year following the release of 80 billion naira by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to avert repetition of the unforgettable 2024 flood disaster that claimed lives and unquantifiable amount of property. This visit by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation is therefore to ensure that no aspect of the reconstruction of Alau Dam is compromised, in line with the expectations of federal and state governments as well as concerned individuals.
From October of this year till March 2027, the dam will be fully constructed, well upgraded.
The minister allayed fears of residents against any looming flood in the first phase of the upgrade, reiterating that adequate security measures have been put in place throughout the exercise. Professor Joseph Telumun Utsef called for continuous support and cooperation, especially on the part of inhabitants of Alau community, for overall upgrade of the facility. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
Now back to health matters. More gains are being achieved in the National Tuberculosis Response Project, with the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu's inauguration of a new diagnostic machine across all states and the Federal Capital Territory. Uche Ogochukwu reports that this is to boost early diagnosis, especially in hard-to-reach and underserved communities.
Coughing for more than 2 weeks, fatigue, night sweats, weight loss and death were the stories of Janet Ahmed's family until she got tested for TB in 2019.
The mine started. So after long a while, doctors took my sample and told me I had tuberculosis and it's curable.
Janet's tale reflects the case of many in Nigeria, which ranks top among countries most affected by TB in Africa. Yet, over half of those infected are never diagnosed.
In terms of health, in terms of mobility and mortality. Despite it, be preventable and also curable.
With the help of TB diagnostic machines, we can achieve early, rapid, and accurate detection of tuberculosis.
WHO is setting norms and standards on TB prevention, diagnosis and care, providing technical support and capacity building to strengthen health system.
This situation is fast changing with this batch of new TB diagnostic machines donated by the Renewed Hope Initiative of the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, who was represented by the wife of Kwara State Governor, Dr. Olufolake Abdulrazak.
These diagnostic machines will be deployed across Nigeria to enhance rapid, accurate TB detection, especially in underserved areas. They will help break the dangerous chain of transmission by ensuring that those infected are quickly diagnosed and placed on treatment.
We are working hard under the direction of the President to ensure that drugs, other tests, the human resources are available, and integrating TB care into the primary healthcare system so that our compatriots, like the advocates that we've had, will not suffer needlessly from a disease that is indeed curable. It could be preventable. And by working between the federal government, states, and local government, I am sure, with the leadership that we have in our country, we can be able to achieve this objective.
Through this gesture, health advocates say every local clinic in Nigeria should one day be able to test for TB and also treat it. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
There will be more news after the break. Don't go away. You're welcome back. Now let's bring you up to speed with other news as the federal government is open to collaborating with subnational entities and private partners to enhance Nigeria's food security. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, stated this during a courtesy visit to the Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, in Lafia. Kyari stated that the administration's policy aims to address the country's food demand deficit. He emphasized that this goal can only be achieved if state governors invest more in food production.
For his initiative in investing significant resources in agriculture, he said President Tinubu's vision is for the country to expand areas under cultivation by 500,000 hectares.
It is something that is in alignment with the renewed hope of His Excellency Mr. President to increase food production, to increase productivity and yield, and this is exactly what it is today.
Governor Sule said the mission is to cultivate 10,000 hectares to boost the state's rice production output and create jobs.
All that we have done, roughly you can see only 3,300 hectares out of the 10,000 hectares of the state government. So which means there is at least another 6,700 to be done. By the time we do that, the number of youth that you are seeing today, that are roughly that we have from the beginning to now about 500 youths, it will now be thousands of youths.
Apart from rice, the state government, in partnership with private farm, is engaged in sugarcane plantation, which will significantly reduce Nigeria's sugar importation. From Lafia, Nasarawa State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
To enhance the anti-corruption drive and as part of concerted efforts to curb corruption in the country, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is to commence thorough investigation into the real estate sector of Nigeria's economy. The chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukayode, disclosed this in Abuja during a keynote address on policy dialogue on the critical issues affecting Nigeria's real estate ecosystem. The news will come in our subsequent bulletin. Moving on, the National Senior Citizens Center has expressed profound gratitude to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the historic approval and directives on pension increase and minimum pension guarantee to retirees in Nigeria. NSCC Director General Omo Bolanle Akinyemi Ope said this underscores the president's unwavering commitment to the welfare and dignity of Nigeria's senior citizens and has brought relief and hope to many families who have toiled meaningfully to the overall development of the country. The center also describes the directive as a testament to the government's dedication to social justice and inclusivity. Now, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction says the federal government is set to provide emergency funding to bridge gaps created through special interventions. Ruth Agwele has the details.
With an estimated population of more than 200 million, the demand for food also increasing. According to reports projected that 33 million Nigerians may experience food crisis in 26 states, placing Nigeria among the top 5 countries globally with populations in critical need of food and nutrition assistance. Yes, huge challenge, but the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction is on the defensive. There were concerns over the World Food Programme scaling back its coverage of food assistance to 1.3 million vulnerable individuals, especially in the Northeast region, due to funding gaps, malnutrition and health risk surfacing due to the closure of WFP-supported nutrition clinics in Borno and Yobe states. However, the federal government seems ready to address the challenge squarely.
Emergency food transfer is the one that is affected, and it constitutes almost 70% of World Food Programme's activity in Nigeria. The ministry has already reached an advanced stage in preparation for the government and enterprises and empowerment program, which is giving soft loan to farmers, and each will receive a soft loan, which is collateral-free.
It is a call to action as both the local and international partners are being urged to provide urgent support to complement federal government's efforts in bridging the gaps in meeting humanitarian needs across the country. In Abuja, Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
I hear that the report on the EFCC beam searchlight on real estate sector to curb corruption is ready. Let's take it.
The real estate sector is a significant contributor to Nigeria's economy, now ranking as the third largest sector behind trade and crop production. In the third quarter of 2024, the sector grew by 46.52% in nominal terms and contributed 5.43% to the real GDP. Due to the growth of the sector, illicit financial flow is rampant as people with alleged financial crimes invest in the sector to hide their ill-gotten wealth. It is in the light of this that the Anti-Graft Agency is beaming its searchlight on illicit financial flows in the real estate sector. The probe will begin in the Federal Capital Territory with a view to determining real owners and possibly identify whether the estates are products of illicit transactions. To achieve this, the agency will collaborate with other sectors and stakeholders in the real estate sector to make the pending probe worthwhile.
Don't let anybody hide under you and do money laundering. We're going to expose you, we're going to fish you out and bust the racket. Because we have got to a stage in Nigeria where all of us, we have to synergize, we have to collaborate. The government will play its part, private sector will play their own part, and for this country to move forward.
Analyze that project and ensure that all land records are brought into it, so that you have one central place where land titles are administered from. And then on the part of the massive developers, the problem was that those who had agreements were to develop them within a certain time. They haven't. Those who had development needs were also to do so. And there's a condition there that when you sell, you make returns to the FCDA, to wages, so that they
In sanitizing the sector, statistics of real estate would be obtained and a comprehensive register of owners will be developed as operationalization is key for the real estate to grow. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And on security and defense, the federal government says it will soon achieve local production of military hardware to enhance internal security operations and cut capital flight. Speaking at the official unveiling of the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, the 7G headquarters in Abuja, the Minister of State for Defense, Mohammed Bello, described the establishment of the facility as a strategic move aimed at tackling the bottlenecks associated with arms procurement. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
The fight against insurgency is receiving a new boost as service chiefs and security experts converge on Abuja for the official unveiling of the headquarters of the DICON D7G. With the evolving global security challenges, the Minister of State for Defense emphasized the need for the production of military hardware locally to enhance ongoing internal security operations.
The establishment of DACOM D7G comes at a critical time when we strive to enhance our defense capability. This joint venture is expected to play a key role in localizing production of strategic defense equipment, thereby reducing dependence on import.
The only way we can move forward in terms of meeting our operational challenges is for us to localize production of military hardware.
The DICON Act of 2023 empowers the corporation to partner with reputable companies to facilitate technology transfer.
We are charting a new course for local production of military hardware, which includes armaments, armored vehicles, protective gear, and other mission-critical equipment that meets both the operational requirements of the Armed Forces of Nigeria.
The company's platform is providing employment to skilled retired military officers and men in factory operations, administration and logistics in defense equipment production in Nigeria.
Security experts are optimistic reliance on foreign arms will soon reduce. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
We'll take a pause here as we join Hingino in our Lagos studio for more on NTA Network News. Hello, Hingino. Studio for more.
And welcome to Lagos. For growth and firmer collaboration in Africa's broadcast space, practitioners and investors on the continent converged on Lagos to discuss artificial intelligence in the broadcast ecosystem on the continent. Lanre Belei was there and brings details.
With artificial intelligence fast becoming the current reality, permeating every facet of socio-economic life, leaders, innovators, and seasoned practitioners in Africa are discussing the use of this field of science in the broadcasting community in Africa. There's a consensus that artificial intelligence is a tool that will boost broadcasting in the continent, contrary to the belief that its advent will take over jobs and render traditional media organizations obsolete.
For us in the public media institution, we must understand that the future of broadcasting is with new technology, AI particularly.
You have to program artificial intelligence in the direction you want. If you don't have a vision and a set direction for the way you want to go, then artificial intelligence would be a bit of chaos.
Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, represented by the Zonal Director, NTA Lagos Network Center, Evelyn Nwoso, urged media practitioners to see AI as a tool for improving effective delivery of information.
AI cannot take over those of you in the broadcast media. It will only take those of those who don't want to use it. And how is it going to use it? Go to AI. It speeds up your rates of delivery, it increases your engagement, and of course it makes you know what is happening around you.
Discussions also centered on the contextual and ethical use of artificial intelligence, including the need for personnel training.
Whether we as broadcasters like it or not, AI is going to be here. So, but when AI comes, we as broadcasters need to retool and re-equip ourselves.
How much have we invested in training our staff so that they can master the use of AI? Once we do that, we can be sure that we will enjoy the full benefits of AI.
Practical ways to monetize content using AI tools, infrastructure, collaboration, and newsroom automation were explored. In Lagos, Lanre Belei, NTA News.
And still talking technology, to promote transparency, accountability and good governance practices, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has launched a document that provides guidelines on corporate governance for the Nigerian telecommunications sector with the aim of enhancing the industry's growth, protecting investment and promoting sustainability. Adejoke Odeka tells us more.
In order for Nigeria to achieve a robust and well-organized telecommunications industry, attract investments, drive economic growth, and improve citizens' lives, the Nigerian Communications Commission's NCC, with a combination of collective efforts and engagement, has launched guidelines on corporate governance.
We need to see capital appreciation, dividend payments, and impact to your customers, your shareholders, as well as stakeholders within the communities within which you operate.
We are looking at building institutions and not just individuals.
The CEO of the NCC, Dr. Aminu Maida, enjoined various stakeholders to see the guidelines as a toolkit for addressing the sector's challenges and creating sustainable values.
A way to reinforce and promote good governance to get most and majority of the critical operators in the sector to that level of superior performance.
Developed through stakeholder engagement and public-private collaboration, Nigeria joins other countries already practicing this system. In Lagos, Adijoke Odeka, NTA News.
That's it from here. Benny Adams is standing by with business news, but that will be after the break.
It's good to know you're here. It's time to talk business. Now, resuscitating moribund textile industries requires practical steps and partnerships to address challenges inhibiting production of textiles. This informed the recent visit by the Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Owan Eno, to textile plants situated in various parts of Lagos. Amaka Owo reports that it is a deliberate effort by the federal government to reposition the manufacturing sector and revive ailing textile industries for economic growth.
For the past 5 years.
The recent visit by the Minister of State for Industry, John Eno, to textile industries within Lagos metropolis is one of those intentional moves by the government to revamp redundant textile industries and scale up operations for job creation and the more buoyant economy. Some of the industries visited were seen operating at a minimal level, while others are currently in a state of comatose.
The work of industry is actually in the field. It's in the factories, it's in the industries, and all of that, So at Tex, which is, part of the UNTL group, what I find is, you got close to 20,000 jobs, that have been lost. It's a facility that hasn't operated for upwards of 5 years, and from what I find, there don't seem to be any plans to get it to operate. That means it can be here for the next 10, 15, 20 years. That in itself, I think, first is unacceptable to government, because, it's a facility that has enjoyed various forms of interventions on the part of government, to say that. I'm interested in meeting with those shareholders because a conversation has to happen. And there must be some kind of, turning point to all of this.
The Industrial Revolution Work Group, created by the Minister of State to ensure stakeholders' engagement, is part of actions towards making Nigeria the bedrock of industrialization. All these are geared towards the ambition of the present administration's steps in actualizing a $1 trillion economy by the year 2030. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
Now, the National Senior Citizens Center is partnering the Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, towards deepening relations and scaling up senior entrepreneurs. The partnership is also aimed at enhancing access to microcredit and business support services, in addition to establishing a Senior Citizens Business Hub. Director General of NSCC, Omobolale Akinyemi Obe, revealed her interest during the high-level meeting at the headquarters of SMEDAN in Abuja. Other areas of interest are digital and financial literacy programs, data sharing, and joint monitoring frameworks. Mrs. Obe is confident that the partnership will continually break barriers, touch lives, and build an inclusive economy where no one, especially senior citizens, will be left behind. Adding that the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a compelling directive for the inclusion of senior citizens development initiatives in Nigeria. The management of SMEDAN, represented by Onesi Lawani, promised to always prioritize senior citizens for beneficial engagement. Now, a quick look at the markets at this time. At the end of today's trading session on the Nigerian exchange, the all-share index rose 0.52%. as investors gained 479 billion naira, a total of 1.980 billion shares in 35,282 deals, corresponding to a market value of 27 billion were traded. Today's data shows 16% improvement in volume, but 10% decline in turnover, and the current market capitalization has also increased to 29.7 trillion naira. On the aggregate, 128 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 44 gainers and 34 losers. That is it on business at this time. Jumai, you can take it from here.
Thank you so much, Benny, for the business news. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has extended her congratulations to Senator Daisy Danjuma on the occasion of her 73rd birthday. In a birthday message where she joins family, friends and associates to felicitate the celebrant, the First Lady notes that her life as a legislator, distinguished lawyer and entrepreneur who represented Edo South in the Senate at the 5th National Assembly has been one of service, and prays that God Almighty continues to bless the celebrants with divine health, peace, and many more years of fulfillment and joy. The Jigawa state government is taking steps towards economic revitalization through a special empowerment initiative that targets key players in the transport and meat supply chain sectors. In a strategic partnership with the National Union of Road Transport Workers and the State Association of Butchers, the administration has empowered dozens of local businesses with commercial vehicles and millions in seed capital. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
A major empowerment drive designed to uplift grassroots entrepreneurs and improve internal commerce, the Jigawa State government has partnered with the National Union of Road Transport Workers and the Jigawa State Association of Butchers to distribute 36 commercial vehicles and financial grants under a revolving loan scheme. 15 animal dealers each received 5 million naira, while 38 butchers received 1 million naira each to enhance productivity and efficiency across the state's meat supply chain. The empowerment program executed through the State Agency for Youth Empowerment and Employment and supervised by the State Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Investments aims to enhance wealth creation, support food supply chains and improve mobility services for economic expansion.
You have the love of your people, and this is what we are witnessing today. For any supply chain to work effectively and efficiently, whether in agriculture, commerce and industry, or trading and manufacturing, the services of NURTW will be a critical element or component of that value chain.
In a move of political solidarity and appreciation, the chairman of the two associations announced the launch of a fundraising initiative to purchase presidential and governorship nomination forms for President Tinubu and Governor Namadi with a deposit of 2 million naira, expressing confidence in their leadership and continuity plans. From Tuti, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And on the global stage, Sudan's Prime Minister is in Cairo on his first foreign visit since assumption of office. And the Bank of England cut its key interest rate to 4%, the lowest level in over 2 years. Chukunoso Nwabize has details on Global Update.
Prime Minister Kamel Idris visited Cairo on Thursday for his first foreign visit since assuming office in May. A statement from the Egyptian presidency indicates that Idris, a career diplomat and former UN official, held talks with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. During the meeting, Sisi reaffirmed Egypt's steadfast position supporting the unity, sovereignty and territorial integrity of Sudan. Idris also met with his Egyptian counterpart, Mustafa Mabdouli. At a press conference after the meeting, the Sudanese Prime Minister said there is consensus between Egypt and Sudan on key regional and international issues. In other news, the Bank of England on Thursday cut its key interest rate by 1/4 point to 4%, the lowest level in over 2 years, as it bids to boost a UK economy still threatened by US tariffs.
Domestic price and wage pressures have generally continued to abate in recent months, and that's allowed us to take another step today in reducing bank rates.
London and Washington reached an agreement in May to cut levies of more than 10% imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump on certain UK-made items imported by the United States, notably vehicles. The quarter-point cut was the BOE's fifth such reduction since starting a trimming cycle in August 2024. Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
We'll take another break. We'll be right back. Let's join Francisca for sports update. Francisca, what's happening in the world of sports?
Thank you, Jumai. Of course, a lot is happening in the world of sports, but let's begin with beach volleyball. The 2025 CAVB Under-18 and Under-19 Beach Volleyball Championship has ended in Abuja, with Team Nigeria claiming gold and silver in girls category. Nigeria's first team beat Nigeria's Team 3, 21-17, 21-7 to claim the top prize, with Democratic Republic of Congo edging out Egypt's Team 1 to claim bronze. In the boys category, Gambia defeated DR Congo 21-19, 21-13 to emerge champions, while Nigeria's Team 1 beat Nigeria's Team 3, 23-21, 21-17 to finish third.
I'm also thankful to God for granting me this winning and for granting me this very opportunity to represent my country, Nigeria. By the grace of God, I'll be bringing more trophies back home.
I'll go home and train harder, so at least if I go to our championship, I can try more better.
The rating is very high. We've gotten some responses from international body.
We're quite delighted about it, and as usual, the women never disappoint us. It's still the women that got the gold for.
To football, Super Falcons coach Justin Madugu and star goalkeeper Chiamaka Inadozie have both earned nominations for the prestigious 2025 Ballon d'Or Awards, marking a significant milestone for Nigerian women's football on the global stage. Madugu is in the running for the Women's Team Coach of the Year, while Inadozie was listed among the world's top female goalkeepers for the Yasin Trophy. Talking basketball, Nigeria's senior men's basketball team, the Tigers, continue to intensify preparations in Abuja ahead of the 2025 FIBA Afro-Basket Championships in Angola. The team on Thursday evening took on their Guinean opponents in a test game, which ended 78-73 in their favor. With barely 5 days before the tournament officially dunks off, 15 players are already in camp following the arrival of Caleb Agada and Ike Nwanu on Thursday, while the late addition of Mohamed Abdul Salam has now taken the numbers to 16. The Tigers have been drawn in Group B of the 2025 Afro-Basket alongside Cameroon, Madagascar and Tunisia. But as it's on sports update, it's back to Jumai.
Thank you so much, Francisca. And widely regarded as the first lady of journalism in Nigeria, the late Doyin Abiola, former managing director and publisher of National Concord, has been described by family members as a versatile journalist who inspired many women with her successful career in the pen profession. Joel Popoola reports that the family members are yet to come to terms with the death of the veteran journalist who passed away at the age of 82.
Climax of a fulfilled life for Doyin Abiola, wife of the late business icon and politician Moshood Kashimawo Abiola. The mood at her residence succinctly reflects the vacuum her demise has left. Her daughter described her as someone who doesn't settle for less, and this propelled her to rise to the peak of her profession as the first Nigerian woman to become the editor of a daily newspaper.
She'll be remembered for the amount of lives that she touched.
She was a calm, intelligent woman.
She was kind. She was very patient.
Doyin Abiola was educated at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, where she earned a degree in English language and drama in 1969. Her desire to know more about journalism informed her master's degree pursuit in the United States, where she bagged a PhD in communication and political science in New York University. Her years of meritorious service in National Concord and Daily Sketch newspapers, including other organizations where she made remarkable contributions, will be fondly remembered. Her family says funeral arrangements will be announced in due course. In Lagos, Joel Popoola, NTA News.
And the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has extended her condolences to the children, grandchildren, family, the media community, friends, colleagues and associates of late distinguished journalist, media icon and trailblazing Nigerian woman, Dr. Doyin Abiola. And our survey results are in, with 55% of respondents picking public health education as a top priority to reduce Lassa fever deaths in Nigeria. 27.5% picked better sanitation, hoping that it will stop rats from spreading the virus. Another 12.5% believe more healthcare funding for hospital and isolation centers should be the priority, while 5% picked faster testing and treatment. And that's Network News for tonight. Thanks so much for your time. On behalf of the crew, I am Juma Yusuf.